300 years ago, to the west of heaven arose a secret kingdom, and countless dungeons descended to earth. With them came many powerful demons who declared the apocalypse for humanity. After the initial chaos, the awakening appeared, and the work of change had a powerful force that helped them defeat the monsters and save the world from its destruction. To fight the monsters, Job Changer continues to explore the secret kingdom to gain wealth and materials. The nation started working hard to develop this job modifier that would allow everyone to awaken at the age of 18. It was time to wake up the class. For the 18-year-old students to wake up the class, someone had to touch the magical blue crystal. Some students touched the crystal. One student was named Juan from 3rd grade. Class 2 failed to awaken the class and was labeled as a classless student. Another student named Lin from 3rd grade this year succeeded in awakening the swordsman class. Another student named Wan Hao from class 3 the 2nd year succeeded in awakening the craftsman class. Awakening is usually divided into 3 categories according to his class's fighting support and fighting creation category are the most practical, and everyone wants to get it, while on the other hand, no one wants to get the creation category because in this category are those who can't fight and are considered the weakest and hated by everyone. Some students come back to touch the crystal, and a student with purple hair became happy when he awakened the fighting category called Magic Swordsman. On the other hand, another student became sad and started crying because he had awakened the creation category. He began to wonder why he managed to awaken a class that wasn't any good for fighting. After the awakening ceremony is completed, the class range is also usually divided into 4 categories: general and divine secrets, of which the divine rank is the rarest. This rank can only be seen once every 100 years. It is our protagonist's turn that Jiang Chen touches that crystal and awakens the class. He touched the crystal, and it started emitting a strong light. When seeing this, the other students were stunned. The brown-haired boy points his finger towards Jiang Chen and tells everyone that he is the prodigy of the academy. Another student tells the others that this is a sign of awakening. While Jiang Chen touches the crystal, it starts emitting a strong light that starts moving quickly towards the sky. The students started to wonder what the ranking of this class was. Some people thought it was a divine grade because Zhong City had not produced a divine talent for hundreds of years. Within seconds, the crystal began to emit a strong light that formed a giant tree in the sky that was visible from every corner of the city. It was said that every time a divine rank class awakened, a phenomenon occurred that could shake the heavens and the earth. A few seconds later, the class awakening was successful, and when Jiang Chen touched the crystal with one hand, he put his other hand in his trouser pocket and just stared at the sky at that time. When Director Wang appeared, he approached Zhang Chang and congratulated him for being the pride of the school. Even though he knew that Jiang Chen could awaken the combat class, he did not expect him to awaken the divine class. After saying this, Director Wang asked Zhang Chang which class he had awakened. Zhang Chang turned slightly towards the director and, somewhat surprised, with a smile he explained to Director Wang that the class he awakened was not a combat class. After hearing this, Director Wang was shocked. With a shocked expression on his face, he started to look towards Zhang Chang, saw that Zhang had not awakened his combat class, and asks if he then wakes up the support class. Jiang Chen turned his body towards Director Wang, stretched out his hand to the side, and a plant made of spirits appeared in his palm. His hand revealed to everyone that he had awakened a god-level creation class called Spiritual Master. He also added that this talent is intended to help the growth of plantations and small people. After hearing this, both the director and the others were shocked. He started looking at Zhang Chen and explained that this was bad because creation classes had no combat abilities, so even divine ranks were considered useless. The professor who accompanied Director Wang asked Jiang Chen not to be discouraged because even if he couldn't fight, at least he could survive. He explained that the spiritual teacher was quite popular in the research field. He also added that the recommendation he promised was not. Maybe he suggested Jiang Chang enter the research field because a professor could give him a letter of recommendation. Just before the professor finished speaking, Jiang Chen interrupted him, turned to him, and thanked him with a smile. He placed his hand on his jacket pocket, and while walking away from the professor, he explained that he was something one of the students had to do. Started laughing and told his classmates that this was a joke because he thought Jiang Chang had obtained some kind of fighting god class, but it turned out to be just a creation class. Another student put his hand near his face and told his friend that life is full of surprises. He also adds that everyone thought jumping the prodigy from the academy would raise a fighter class, and now, no matter how superior he is academically, he will be considered useless. Jiang Chen put his hands in his trouser pockets and started heading towards the exit, while students nearby started to mock him. One of the students told the others that this was quite fun to watch, as Zhang Chang had been the king of hard work since he entered academy. Another student said, knowing the other, that he had worked very hard just to get into the creation class. Another student told the other that the school's beautiful girl Lin, who was always in second place, had awakened this secret fighting class after hearing so many jokes. Jiang Chen just smiled and thought that just a moment ago those two students were very cruel. For him, he didn't expect that awakening the creation class would change everything drastically. Thinking about this, he was sure that in this world only strength mattered. He started to wonder what was wrong with creation class, so he stretched out his hand and a system window appeared above his palm. According to the notification system, Jiang Chen has completed his class. His awakening had awakened a class called Divine Rank Spirit Master, and the conditions for opening the insect system. Natural disasters have also been met with the opening of the initial insect brood. Jiang Chen turned his head to the side, and while staring at the system window, he couldn't help but smile, thinking that this class was very suitable for him. Our protagonist's name is Jiang Chen. After dying, he was reborn in this awakened world. After the Dark Era ended, the entire world was filled with various monsters and dungeons. It was from then that this world began to respect the strong. He was reborn as an orphan to survive in this harsh world despite having nothing in this world. He gave it his all before turning 18. He thought he had to rely on his skills to earn a living, which surprised him a month ago on a normal day of a system. A window appeared in front of him to inform him that the Insect Calamity system would be merged after the Awakening class and the system would activate once the transfer was successful. Jiang Chen put his hand on his chin, and while looking at the system window, he thought that the race that once destroyed humanity in the Dark Era was very powerful. He had heard that the last time the cataclysm occurred, 9 of the 12 kings of humanity were sacrificed to seal it. He clenched his fists tightly and thought that in this world strength was everything. There was no doubt. He started to stare fixedly at the system window, and as his body radiated powerful energy, he thought so as long as he could harness the power of the insect race for himself, the insect race would not stand a chance against him. Without further thought, Jiang Chen activated it. System, and by doing that he was teleported into the system. He started looking around and got a little confused. He started looking ahead. He put his hand near his head to cover his eyes and thought that this was his own sea of consciousness in front of him. Here is a big spiritual tree. After seeing this, Jiang Chen starts to wonder if this is his talent. He didn't expect it to be a tree. More Windows systems appear. Jiang Chen has several talents. This class of talents is the evolution of everything and requires a sacrifice. They can be used every 10 days once and limited to one use per target. The first talent is called the Fruit of All Things. Through sacrifice, Jiang Chen can increase the growth progress of special fruits, and the fruits can be dropped randomly. The second talent is called Growth Increase. This ability allows him to increase the growth rate current living creatures. This ability increases the growth rate by 10%. By using this ability, Jiang can accelerate the growth of all living creatures, and the cooldown duration is 8 hours. Jiang Chen put his hand on his chin, and when he looked at the system window, he thought that this system was good because even proactively analyzing his talents, even though these talents don't seem to have any fighting ability, each can be applied to his system when he is distracted. A system window pops up asking for it. If you want to start summoning the mother insect without hesitation, Jiang Chen asked the system to summon the mother insect. At that moment, evil energy started to emerge from the ground, and a system notification window appeared to inform him that the mother insect was being summoned. As Jiang stared at the energy, which he thought was a bug. The mother bug has a strong presence. A few seconds later, another system window appeared to inform him that the summoning of the natural disaster rank mother insect called Nine-Wing Asthma had been completed. The mother of the insects was a giant creature. He started to look at Jiang Chen, who took a few steps back and was amazed. The status window, the amazed mother insect appeared. She was called Nine-Winged Asthma Eye from the Abyss, and she was known as the Lord of Death and Disaster. She caused disasters as big as natural disasters and then disappeared in the Third Era. Her current devouring value is 0%. Jiang has 100% affinity with insects. Mother Jiang must continue to devour them and start breeding the next generation of insects to unlock their abilities. The mother insect approached Chi, who was amazed and began to wonder how he was so big. The insect's mother started looking at Jiang and calling him master. He introduced himself as Little Nine and explained that he was very hungry and wanted to devour the beast. Another system window appeared to tell him that the growth rate of the insect mother had increased by 10%. Now Jiang could use sacrificial items to increase it. Target: the first upgrade will not consume any sacrificial objects thanks to the talent. Jiang slightly raised his head, and while looking at the system window, he thought that now he didn't need to use sacrificial items. Then there was no time to waste. Without hesitation, he asked the system to upgrade the insect mother and insect body. The mother started covering herself with a strong green light, and when Jiang observed this, he thought that he needed to devour to level up so he wouldn't be easy to please. The insect's mother body started emitting a strong aura, and quickly Jiang took a position. Attacking little by little, a mother insect began to evolve and took the form of a human woman. A few seconds later, the mother insect managed to evolve. Her body began to emit a strong aura. She had white hair and wore armor. With a deadly gaze, she started to stare at Jiang slowly. She began to advance towards Jiang, and the system window appears above his head. A new Plague Queen has undergone important transitions and levels up. Along with leveling up, she gains new abilities. First ability is called Nurturing. With this ability, she can share experience 10 times with the host's second ability. It's called Poisonous Mist. With this ability, she can transform into deadly poison that destroys everything. The third and final ability is called Communion. This ability allows him to increase all of the host abilities by 20%. After seeing the form of the mother insect, Jiang is shocked. The mother insect gains momentum and pounces on Jiang to hug him. He explained to him that Little Nine had evolved. Jiang was a little confused because he didn't know what happened. She turned her head slightly and couldn't help but blush when she saw that the insect mother had evolved into a human form. He stopped hugging Jiang and started stroking his head. He closed his eyes, clenched his fists, and called Jiang a master. While smiling, he explained that Little Nine wanted to devour flesh and blood while Jiang was stroking his head. A status window appeared above his head. His name was Nine Wings Miasma, and he had 4 poison abilities: Mist, Feeds, Fury, and United. Currently, his devour value is 0. After devouring value bar is filled, he can start spawning descendants. He has 2 passive abilities called Experience Return and Attribute Increase, while Jay is stroking the head of the small mine. He starts to look at his stat window and thinks that the spiritual master talent can speed up the devouring of the insect mother's growth as well as the growth it is experiencing, which in turn will speed up his own improvement even further. The mother insect is able to increase all of his attributes by 20%. Jiang class in this system is the perfect combination. With this, he doesn't need a combat class. He stretched his hand to the side and a swarm of insects started coming out of his palm. He turned around towards the insects and was amazed that as long as he killed and devoured quickly, he could immediately make the insect army. Jiang turned towards the huge spiritual tree and thought of the system message that just mentioned the abyss insects. A disaster as big as the cataclysm combined with this incomplete information, it was clear that this was not something that could be easily shown to others. Found could lead him to his death. He put his hand in his pocket, and while he was looking at the spiritual tree for now, he decided to use his class identity as a creation and the poisonous poison ability of the mother insect it was covered in to devour it. Monsters and increasing his hidden power was not Jiang's style. He wanted to become strong enough to show off his skills to the world. While he was deep in thought, the water of the sea of consciousness started to move. Seeing this, the mother insect quickly jumped and started flying as they both looked into the water. Jiang explains to him that this only means one thing. At that moment, with a deadly glare, the mother insect looked back and caught Jiang's attention. While she looked back, she started smiling and explained to Jiang that she felt there a threat. That time, Jiang came out of the system space, and after seeing what was in front of him, he was surprised. In front of him, there was a man who was much taller than him. This man had black hair, a beard, and had a scar on his eye. The man approached Jiang and started looking into his eyes. Silent for a few seconds, the man asked Jiang if the awakening phenomenon that the whole city saw earlier had been activated by him. While Jiang looked at the man, he clenched his teeth tightly, and realizing that he was at least master rank or higher, he became alert and started to wonder why he was being sought.
Thank you, friends, for joining us on this exciting adventure in the world of Manhwa in today's Manhwa recap. So don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on every exciting episode.